Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'll show you a romantic horror film called Only Lovers Left Alive. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a trippy sequence of stars that rotates and eventually forms into a record player. The shot then transitions to a robed lady named Eve in Tangier, followed by a hunky man named Adam in Detroit, who is shirtless and hugging his guitar. The view continues to revolve just like the record player, but then both the characters wake up and decide to get to work. Adam takes a look out of his window and spots a man with a guitar case, after which Eve peeps at people from her terrace. The man with the guitar case is revealed to be a seller named Curly, whom Adam takes into his room. He checks out a guitar, which Curly claims to be completely original, and then he is shown a variety of other guitars. Adam says that he saw a renowned guitarist of the 1950s play live, so Curly becomes suspicious. However, Adam quickly corrects himself and says he saw an online video of the performance. Now Eve walks through the alley at night and avoids everyone in her path. Adam seems to be depressed over something and tells Curly that he needs a wooden bullet with a brass casing. Curly wants to know why Adam wants such a unique bullet, but he doesn't give any reason for it. Curly asks Adam if he can use his washroom, but he says no and gives an excuse. Curly tries to insist, but Adam maintains that he doesn't want his smelly turds stinking up his joint. Now we move back to Eve, who is still walking through the alley. After her long journey, she enters a restaurant and meets an assistant. Elsewhere, we see Adam driving towards a hospital in the middle of the night, dressed up as a doctor. A bearded old man named Beardy meets Eve, and they exchange pleasantries rather than hormones. Eve asks for the good stuff, and Beardy gives it to her. But then we learn that he is actually a famous writer who had supposedly passed away in the late 16th century. What's more, Beardy has been under the protection of a protege and is currently using a fake name so that people don't recognize him. Eve has a brief chat with Beardy and leaves with only one packet of the good stuff, whereas there are actually two. We shift back to Adam, who passes by the judgmental eyes of some other doctors. He covers his face with a mask and goggles to conceal his identity, and then he meets a shady doctor named Shady. Adam's appearance scares Shady, but his fear is put to rest when he gets some shady cash. Adam uses a fake name to carry out his deal, which is basically to get safe, pure blood, later revealed to be the good stuff. Shady is a bit confused as to why Adam wants pure blood, but he only says that it's better to get his goods straight from its source. Shady points out that Adam's stethoscope was an invention of the 60s, but he ignores Shady's shady bullshit and simply walks away. As Shady wonders what to do with his shady cash, Adam spots a bleeding patient and gets triggered. He controls his urges and walks away, implying that he is a vampire, thirsty for human blood. Eve walks back to her place with the good stuff, which is also pure blood. Now in a creepy revelation, we see that Eve, Beardy, and Adam are all vampires, who are drinking this pure blood to satisfy their cravings. The vampire trio experiences a feeling similar to hormone enlightenment and immerses themselves in this pleasure. After a while, Eve calls up Adam and he picks up using an ancient telephone. Eve wants to video chat with Adam, so he switches on his ancient TV and they finally see each other's faces. The couple is revealed to be hormone lovers, but Adam is shown to be suffering from depression because of the way humanity has fallen from grace. He even calls humans zombies, but Eve tells him to check out Daniel CC Movie Channel for real zombies. We also learn that Adam and Eve have been alive for centuries and have seen the worst possible events in the world. Adam is actually a famous musician, but even his music isn't enough to keep him happy, which is why he is considering the wooden bullet to book a death appointment to meet Dracula. Eve feels sorry for Adam, so she promises to come and see him later. Now Adam begins playing music in an intense sequence, while Eve dances in an eerie TikTok fashion. After a creepy scene, Adam is interrupted when some people knock on his door, because they seem to know of his true rock star identity. Adam ignores them and proceeds to play his violin. Eve books her flight to see Adam in Detroit, and then she loads up her bag with books. She is quite the bibliophile, as can be seen by her collection. Afterward, Curly meets Adam and gives him the wooden bullet. Adam says that Curly is pretty good for a zombie human and proceeds to pay him a lot of cash. He also asks Adam to spread rumors about him relocating because he doesn't want visitors like the people who knocked on his door the previous night. Later on, Eve and Beardy have a chilling session, although Beardy keeps drifting away. He says that Adam and Eve should be living together, even though he considers Adam to be a scoundrel. Meanwhile, Adam loads the bullet into his gun and thinks about ending it all. Eve is seen on her flight reading a book, but she gets distracted when a fellow passenger cuts himself. He bleeds for a bit, and this tempts Eve, but she manages to control herself. As Adam lays in bed like a giant baby, Eve is seen in a cab. She eventually reaches Adam's place and is greeted by a smelly skunk. Soon enough, the vampire lovers are reunited and they engage in a hormone yoga session. After they wrestle their muscles for 2 minutes, Adam and Eve switch to a chat, but Eve still senses Adam's depression. He is not even releasing new music anymore because of his hatred for humans, so Eve tells him to think about the heroes of the world. Unfortunately, Adam believes that all good humans have been mistreated and punished for their brilliance, especially Mr. Nikola Tesla. He starts to go on a rant about the zombie humans, but Eve doesn't have time to listen to his whining. The sun is about to rise, so the vampire couple needs to take shelter. But first, Adam wants Eve to ascertain how old one of his guitars it is. She is able to quickly identify it to be a model from 1905, and it makes Adam happy. Later, the vampire couple sleeps in the nude till night, and then they go out for a fun time together. Adam and Eve drive through the city of Detroit, but Eve is not very impressed by the state of the city. As they continue with their drive, Adam shows Eve the birthplace of a famous personality, who was his mother's 7th son. Eve is pleased with this revelation, and then the couple reaches the famous Michigan Theater, which was made in 1920. The Michigan Theater was a beautiful building used for concerts and screenings, but has now been reduced to a simple car parking lot. Later, Adam and Eve play a game of chess, and Eve starts asking him about all the famous people he has met and interacted with during his famous life. Adam is hesitant, but eventually reveals that he's been with all kinds of celebrities and public figures, which makes us wonder if he is still stuck in the old days and does not wish to progress with humanity. Eve decides to give him a gift and opens the freezer. She brings out some popsicles, which are revealed to be blood lollies. The vampire couple feasts on them, but Eve takes this opportunity to win the chess game. She goes on to play some music, and Adam joins her as they dance their hormones away. However, the power goes off, so Adam and Eve head out to inspect it. The reason for the power failure is human error, which upsets Adam, so he opens up his own power machine. Eve is fascinated by the mechanism of this machine, almost as if it was made by Tesla. She also notices some wild mushrooms and asks about them. But Adam isn't too bothered by this sight and walks away. Later, Adam plays a game of doctor with Eve while she is in bed. She isn't in the mood for role play, so Adam walks away to play doctor with himself. Now, Eve checks a photograph of her and Adam from 1868, which happens to be from their 3rd wedding. It is stated that Eve is around 2,000 years old, whereas Adam is only around 500 years old, indicating that Adam is now sleeping with an old granny. Now, Eve checks some of the paintings on the wall, but notices a gun on the floor, which has fallen off from under the pillows. Eve spots the wooden bullet and uses her vampire powers to realize it's been newly made. Adam gets another supply of pure blood from Shady, who notices that he's pale, but doesn't care because he's making Shady money. Adam comes back home with the blood, but gets confronted by Eve for the bullet. She confirms that Adam is not using it as protection from other vampires, and proceeds to mess with his head by placing the gun on her chest. Adam uses his super speed to take the gun away, and explains that he's tired of the zombie humans. Eve scolds him because he needs to appreciate the good things in life, especially since he's been alive for so long. She mentions nature, friendship, love, and also dancing as beautiful concepts. Eve goes on to play some music and engages in a funky dance with Adam. They sway their arms and groove like there's no tomorrow, while the shot continues to transition between them and the record player. The vampire couple goes out for another drive, and Eve talks about the stars that look like diamonds in the sky. She also mentions a dream she had of her sexy sister, Babe, which means that she's looking for them. This is not good news for Adam, as he doesn't like Babe, possibly because her hormone doesn't smell good to him. But Eve says it's been a while since they last met. The couple comes back home, and they hear loud music, so Adam enters with a weapon. However, it just turns out to be Babe, who has decided to crash at Adam's place without his permission. He doesn't want to stay here anymore, but Eve manages to convince him to calm his muscles down. Babe is excited to be with Adam and Eve, but interrupts the couple even after their exhausted hormone yoga. She bothers them for pure blood, and eventually gulps it down in a second when she gets it. Babe experiences euphoria and wants another sip, but Adam tells her to control her urges. Babe annoyingly plays Adam's guitar and eventually convinces the vampire couple to take her to a club along with Curly. Everyone enjoys the live performance at the club, but Babe begins to peep at Curly with hormone intentions. She also pulls out a flask, which she stole from Adam, and drinks from it, much to his disdain. Babe then takes Curly for a TikTok dance and acts seductive with him, so Adam gets upset and makes Eve bring everyone back home. Babe plays Adam's drums, and he tells her to stop, but she asks for more of his pure blood. He says no to her, as well as Curly, who wants to hear some of his newer music. Adam decides to go to bed, but Babe says she's going to spend some time with Curly, possibly to curl more than his hair. Eve takes Adam to bed, and later, she decides to send Babe away with some of the pure blood. However, she notices that Babe has bitten Curly and sent him straight to meet Jesus. Eve quickly checks Babe's teeth because Curly's blood would not have been pure, but contaminated with diabetics. She seems fine, but Adam walks in and notices that Babe has also wrecked his guitar. So in a fit of rage, he throws her out of the house like an adult toy. Babe acts like a brat, but Adam tells her to get lost with her sexy body. Now, Adam and Eve decide to get rid of Curly's body, so they dump it in his car and drive through the night. Adam comes up with an idea and takes the body to an acid pool in an abandoned area. The vampire couple disposes of Curly's body and go back home, but find his friends outside later in the night. Realizing that they might get caught, Adam and Eve book a flight to Tangier, but avoid taking any luggage. After a lengthy flight, the couple reaches Tangier and make their way forward wearing their shady shades. An equally lengthy drive follows, and the vampire couple finally gets a room. Eve tries to contact Beardy for pure blood, but is unable to get in touch with him. She eventually wakes up Adam and takes him to meet Beardy. Adam and Eve reach Beardy's place, but his assistant says that he's not keeping well. We see Beardy in a weakened state with his dying beard, as he offers the vampire couple his last bottle of pure blood. It is strongly hinted that Beardy had written the works of Shakespeare, as he bonds with his fellow vampires one last time. This is because he had consumed contaminated blood due to his shady sources. Beardy breathes his last, and everyone is upset, especially Eve and the assistant, who cry heavily like a chicken. With nothing going for them, Eve decides to give Adam a well-deserved gift. She takes his cash and walks away to buy the gift, leaving Adam alone. In the meantime, Adam notices a Lebanese singer who puts on a splendid performance. Adam is pleased to see such touching music, and Eve also joins him. She says that this singer is going to become famous, but Adam says she's way too good for that. Now Eve gives Adam a new instrument, and he is quite impressed by her gift. However, the vampires run out of blood and have nowhere left to go, so they sit together, prepared to meet a tragic end. That's when they spot a nasty couple and start discussing some of Einstein's theories. The movie ends with the vampire couple attacking the nasty couple, hinting that they will now feast on blood possibly contaminated with nasty hormones. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.